Help us do that. We have our press reviewer, Florence Wielman, with us.
Jeannie.
Hi, Flo. Let's start with Courier International, which has a special issue dedicated this week to the crisis in Ukraine.
That's right. Let's take a look at the front page here. It says, Ici Maidan, so here in Maidan, with this striking photo of a protester playing the piano there on Independence Square. Now, this week, Courier International invited the staff of the Ukrainian Week. That's a Ukrainian magazine that's dedicated to politics, the economy, and art, etc. They have a 10-page special written from Kiev by that weekly. Now, Courrier International says that it wanted Ukrainians to have their voice heard and to really capture the spirit of Maidan. Now, according to that magazine, the country is facing a lot of uncertainty after the revolution and, of course, the threat from Russia in Crimea. And Courrier International promises this week to have a real Ukrainian point of view on their own crisis.
In the meantime, German weekly Der Spiegel is focusing more on the diplomatic wrangling surrounding this crisis.
That's right, and you can see the Russian President Vladimir Putin here on the front page. They call him the pyromaniac. Who will stop him? And you can see there British Prime Minister David Cameron, the U.S. President Barack Obama, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel there trying to reason with him, but Vladimir Putin doesn't seem to be having any of it on the front page. Now, a lot of people in the EU are really counting on the German Chancellor to negotiate with Putin. In the past, she's had somewhat of a special, closer rapport with him because, after all, she grew up in East Germany, so according to a lot of media, she really kind of understands the world that Putin is coming from. And on top of that, she speaks Russian, so she's had Putin on the phone several times since the crisis began, but a lot of papers are saying that the limits of that rapport are starting to be seen.
All right, let's move on now to some other news. Jeune Afrique magazine is focusing on the upcoming presidential election in Algeria.
That's right, and much like a king or an emperor, here they have a picture of President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, and they call it Bouteflika 4, Bouteflika 4 there, the secrets of a proclaimed re-election. Now, that photo there was taken on March the 3rd when he formally registered his candidacy for the election, which will take place on April the 17th. It was one of the very few times that he's been seen in public since he suffered from a stroke last year. Now, Jeune Afrique says that ever since he announced he was running for a fourth term, well, it's not really a secret what the outcome of that election will be.
All right, let's come back now here to France with French politics, where a scandal over the phone tapping of the former president Nicolas Sarkozy has been making the front pages.
That's right. Le Point, the conservative weekly, says that war has been declared with a very concerned-looking Nicolas Sarkozy. So last week, it emerged that an investigating judge had ordered that conversations that he was having with his lawyer, Thierry Herzog, be tapped. Now, they were tapped because they were suspected of tampering with the justice system. But Le Point points out this is just one of many scandals that's rocking the former French president. Last week, for instance, it emerged that one of his former aides, Patrick Buisson, had been secretly tape recording conversations that he was having with Sarkozy when he was president. Now, Nouvelle Obs takes a look at what Sarkozy is afraid of here. Everybody's listening to Sarkozy, but is anyone hearing him? That's what Nouvelle Obs wonders. He's been betrayed by his friends. Judges are on his heels now. It seems like none of the heavyweights in his party, though, are really coming to his defense. But one person that is on the front page of Paris Match, and that's his wife, Carla Bruni. You can see here that she wants to fight for him. And according to a lot of people in their entourage, she is much more riled up and fired up about this whole thing than he is, in fact.
Flo, let's take a very quick look at what the rest of the French weeklies have been saying.
Well, Nouvelle Obs takes a closer look at masterpieces that were stolen during World War II by the Nazi regime. Perhaps they're surfing on the success of the George Clooney film Monuments Men. So if you want to read more about that, check out Nouvelle Obs. And very quickly, 6 Mois. Now, that's a magazine that comes out every 6 months. It's a beautiful magazine with reports from across the world. They're focusing on Russia this week, a report from the very, very north where, winter lasts for 9 months.
Florence Wielman, I thank you so much for that look at the weekly magazines this week here on France 24. Time now for sports.
Paris Saint-Germain